start telling any jokes, I need you to log that into your brain. Everyone thinks my name is Kevin. It's been my lifelong battle. I mean, I'm giving up tournament time to make sure that you guys understand. I got eliminated from a tournament a few weeks ago, and someone came up to me after the show and was like, Kevin, they did you dirty. If you would have been on the ballot, we would have voted for you. And I did this joke. So, thank you guys. Just remember that I'm not doing the full bit. All right, I got a lot to cover. I'm a Lions fan. It's a good time to be a Lions fan. It has not always been a good time being a Lions fan. My wife is from Minnesota, and when we first moved back here, she was like, "Why do you do this to yourself? What do you do? This is terrible. I can't keep watching you do this to yourself." It's like, this is all I know. I saw my dad do this my whole life. He watched his father do it. But now things are good. Like, now it's fun to be a Lions fan. The thing that I don't like about being a Lions fan right now is, like, you know, like Alabama, their, like, thing is Roll Tide, and, like, the Packers got Go Pack Go, and, like, it's not cool to yell, like, Go Lions. Like, that just doesn't sound cool. Like, it's lame. So, if you're a Lions fan, I'm starting this now. Let's just start fucking roaring at each other. Like, how cool would that be? Like, you're walking through the store, you see some, and, like, elevate the roar by how cool their other Lions apparel is. Like, they got a Barry Sanders jersey on, give them like a woo. But, like, they're, like, decked out in blue. Like, you gotta, like, roar. And let's start it. Let's be the craziest people. Like, I went to Michigan, like, they're all wearing this fucking blue and roaring at each other in malls. Like, all right, guys. All right. I'm a canna parent. Does anyone know what that is? Really, I don't like that phrase. It means that you smoke marijuana to deal with your children. There's a million other terms we could use, like papa, marriage and mama. I personally identify as a dope dad. And here's the thing about being a dope dad, like, it's way better than being a drunk dad, because, like, I don't come home and, like, beat my wife. Like, I come home and eat lunch snacks and watch Magic School Bus for hours with the kids. How are they going to get out of this one? Don't worry, Dad. Miss Frizzle, she always figures it out. They are driving a diesel bus through a student right now. Teachers have been fined for significantly less. I gotta share a dope dad moment I had with you the other day. I was at the zoo. Something you need to know about me, I go to the zoo a lot. Like an insane amount. Like, if, like, I went missing, not that they would search for me, because it's kind of bullshit. Like, if a woman or children go missing, they're missing. But if a dad, like, gets murdered, or dies, or gets abducted by an alien, he's just a bum dad. Like, there's never been, like, dad's gone missing. So, if I, like, went missing, or they wouldn't search for me. So, let's put a more realistic scenario. If, like, the hot neighbor girl got murdered, and they were like, this creepy guy next door probably did it, and then they were, like, checking my cell phone pings, they'd be like, he didn't do it. How do you know? He was at the zoo, like, 27 times. He was at the zoo 20, what was he doing? I don't know, he was just there a lot. And I am there a lot, and I'd like to think that I'm starting to make an impression. I definitely did after this moment. I was there with my daughters, and I had my work jacket on, and I always tell this part of the story, like, somehow it makes it better, but I had a marijuana pen in the pocket, and we leaned over to look at the anteater, and the pen fell out, and I was like, I have to tell somebody, like, I can't ignore this. It was full to the brim. I didn't want those animals to eat it. There's an anteater and a capybara in there. Do you guys know what a capybara is? It's basically a chicken nugget with legs. And like, the only reason God made the capybara is so the jaguar, the anaconda, and the caimans down in Brazil had something easy to just so there's a capybara and an anteater, and then my big pen, and everybody's watching. And I get this zookeeper, and the only way to describe him is, like, he looks like a zookeeper, like brought into the real world. But then like he also looks like when he's not a zookeeper, you buy Adderall and Molly from him. So I was like, I can't figure out if he's mad or like, bro, you're gonna share that vape pen with me, right? So like he's not talking much, and we're looking into the cage, and my daughters have collected everybody in the zoo. Like my daddy's medicine fell in the pen, and so we're all looking down. And then we learn that the capybara's name is Nugget. And here's how we learn that, because the zookeeper hasn't really talked much. We watch Nugget come over and start licking my vape pen, and he goes, Nugget, no! And everybody, the kids, the other animals, like everybody's like, Nugget, no! And my daughters are like leaning in, Nugget, please, that's Daddy's medicine. And it was just chaos. The worst part was like, when they gave it back to me, there was like a bunch of it missing. Like, what the fuck, Nugget? Like, come on. Yeah, I keep getting calls from them, like, dude, Nugget is tripping out. Can you come drop your thing again? But I love the zoo. I love it. I'm there a lot. We have a good zoo. I lived in North Dakota for a while. They had a terrible zoo. So, like, I don't, like, appreciate John Ball zoo slander. Like, we have a really good zoo. And I don't think zoos are like animal prisons, because like you could take any prisoner and go, do you want your cell or do you want to live in this animal cage? And he'd be like, well, it has a pool and a skylight and I can shit in that corner and pee in that corner and this is pretty sweet. And like also the diets at zoos are really good. That's not how mealtime at the jailhouse works. Also, when you go to the zoo, there's not like that depressing feeling of like, oh God, there's been a lot of sodomy happening here. So I think that whole idea that zoos are like prisons is ridiculous. Like we treat zoo animals significantly better than we treat our prisoners. So let's drop that. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for letting me talk about the zoo. I want to leave you with one last thought. I apologize for this. Christmas music is a lot like butt stuff. And here's why. Because you either like love it and you're like, I can't wait for the holidays, I'm gonna get it, it's gonna be on, blah, blah, blah. Or you like hate it, like you're like, I'm never going to be into this. But maybe you find someone that you love who is into it. So then you're like, okay, around the holidays, I'll tolerate it. So the next time you're at the zoo, or, you know, getting rammed from behind, think of me, Calvin, not Kevin.
So Reed is just my nickname. Because my mother named me Cherie, but my father calls me Sherry. People in hardware stores call me Sir. Now, my parents may not have agreed on how to pronounce my name, but the one thing they always agreed on is that they were proud of me for being a straight-A student, which is the only time my parents ever referred to me as straight. To this day. And I'm married to a man. Let people see what they want to see. Like I'm in the bathroom tonight throwing on my aftershave, getting ready to leave the house. And my husband says, "You're such a girly girl." Who the fuck is he looking at? Now my husband, he was my fourth fiance. And unfortunately my other 3 relationships ended because of cheating. But because my husband's so wonderful, I believe that God has forgiven me. They didn't think it was me, did you? I'm pretty sure they didn't see it coming either. And I think it's right to say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Because now that I'm married, I'm an adulterer. Hey guys, my husband, he's good looking. And people like to remind me of that. We walk into a restaurant together, he says, "Table for 2, please." At which point the hostess looks at him and says, arguments, I don't get mad. I just walk right up to my husband, give him a big old kiss on the mouth, start talking about what it's like for us as kids being raised in the South. Then I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. So I go back and I'm like, hey, just so everybody knows, we did have different dads. My husband and I, we go on vacation, like to do a little role playing like we're strangers. My husband says something flirty to me from down the bar, offers to buy me a drink. As I make my way around down to him, the bartender leans into my husband and says, sir, I think you've had enough to drink. A few drinks later and a little bit of making out, my husband takes off to the bathroom. Same bartender comes back, says to me, you know he's married, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. That's my brother. But I don't care about any of that because this year my husband and I celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary. So for those of you who don't know, it is the crystal anniversary. Like any good wife, I got him a hooker. You want to guess her name? Crystal? No, it's Rita, but for an extra 50, she's into role playing too. People ask me, doesn't it get boring being married for so many years? I'm like, how can it be? Just the other day, my husband came up with a new nickname for me. It is SpongeBob SquareAss. Now, I don't know if possessive to say that to my face, just like I don't know what happened to his new PlayStation controller, or his TV remote, or his gas station porn collection. I feel like he knows what I'm talking about. People also ask me, how did you meet? And I tell them, we met the old-fashioned way. AOL chat rooms. Tinder in the 90s, man! It took me 30 minutes to download that dick pic. Somehow I made it seem longer. And back in the day, man, my screen name on AOL was Loves the Scissor. Any other scrapbookers in the house? We met in the Michigan S&M room. Single and mature. Yeah, I'm glad I met my husband when I did, because they were not all mature. No, Kim Boy 69, I do not want to pee on you while you point into my belly button. Now you guys might be asking why I'm looking at that gentleman over there. That's Gift Boy. Dad, say hello to everyone. Eventually we got married and that was great. But being single is hard, so I'm kind of glad I'm not dealing with that. Recently a friend of mine, she's been single a very long time. We went out to this bar called the Rusty Nail. We're hanging out with these guys, we're doing shots, we're playing darts. Her and one of them fellas, they took off to the parking lot. She comes back and I'm like, so what happened? And she says, I let him put his rusty nail in my dusty snail. Like, 2 more shots and we're going home. She's like, yay, shots! What kind of shots are we gonna get? I'm thinking tetanus and penicillin. Now, when I was single, I, like many women, went through a lesbian phase. Except I didn't do anyone with anyone, or do anything with anyone, just everyone assumed. And so one day, my sister comes over. Because for the longest time, the only people asking me out were women. And I asked her, why does everyone think I'm a lesbian? She's like, I don't know. You have your hair, your shirt, your pants, your shoes, you hang out at Home Depot, you drive a Ford F-150, you follow women's basketball, you cry when they canceled Ellen, you have every Melissa Etheridge album. Your favorite comic is one of the sites, you can't lay off bar soap, you still use, or you can't lay off rainbows, you still use bar soap, and you have a girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, we're just friends. But I don't care if I look like a lesbian, I'm married. If my hair is a mess, I'm throwing on a ball cap. If I'm cold, I am wearing a flannel, with or without the white beater. If I do not feel like bringing my purse, I bring a wallet with a chain. Safety first, ladies. Then my husband comes up with a cute little nickname for me. He's like, come here, my little trucker. Tells me to back my rig up. I'm like, boop, 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 boop. I'll get ready to take that stuff off, and my husband's like, no, 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 leave that. Wait a minute. Is my husband gay? Guys, I need to go make a phone call. My name's been relayed better.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Good. It's good to see everybody. Good to be out here. I've been watching a lot of shitty TV lately. Anybody else? Watch some shitty TV shows? Hell yeah. Guilty Conscience TV, you know? I like bad television. Not just reality, just bad TV shows. You know, like Sharknado and shit. I love it. Do you watch bad TV shows? What do you like? What's the show? Oh, come on. Do you watch The Bachelor? No Bachelor? The Masked Singer, that's a good one. That's one, I like that one, it's not too bad. My show is Naked and Afraid. I love Naked and Afraid. It's an awesome show, and the premise is hilarious, right? You get these two people, they have no earthly business being together. You take them, and they fly them thousands of miles away into some climate that they've never been in before. They get them butt-ass naked, and they just get cameras on them. They're like, survive? And you just watch them. Just watch them suffer, you know? And people tap out and get mad at each other. It's hilarious. And I watch that entire show, and I just sit there in like an air-conditioned room, and I'm drinking a Pepsi, and I'm eating sour cream Pringles, and I'm just judging the shit out of those people, you know? Just like, Steve can't start a fire. Rub the sticks harder, bitch. Be a man, Steve. See what you can do. Oh, I got something on my shirt. But like, I know the truth is I'd be terrible at Naked and Afraid. Like, I'd be fucking awful at that show. You know, and I understand why. Like, look at me. There's no way I'd be actually functionally good out in the woods. And I feel bad for the woman who'd be the opposite of me, you know? She'd have to be some CrossFit chick with a will to live. And she's gonna go out there, go over the river and through the woods, and then just see my naked ass waiting for her, you know? It's like, hey! 21 days, are you ready for this? It's like, I don't know if she'll be more disappointed in the fat, pasty, white body that's supposed to be protecting her, or the fact that I bring weed as my survival item. She'd have to throw 500 too. We're in the woods, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to match me out here in Belize. I smuggled this thing in ways you don't want to even know. I don't know how much you can get in Belize. I guess a quarter. Thing is, I'm bad at math, but I'm great at weed math. You know what I'm saying? It's like, a quarter, okay, that's 7 grams divided by 21 days. Holy shit, we got less than a gram a day. We're screwed. You better get the hell out of here. I gotta live on my own right now. Process it with the weed. Oh man, I helped my girlfriend move into a new place this weekend, and she's been in there for like 3 days. And she called me today, and she's like, "I think my house is haunted." And I was like, "Oh my god, okay. Why do you think it's haunted?" She goes, "I can hear pitter patters up above me. I hear light voices sometimes. It sounds like little light voices talking. I think my house is haunted by a young 16th century girl." And I was like, wow, quite a jump. Quite a jump. And I was like, that's funny because I think my house is haunted too. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. She goes, who's haunting your house? I said, I think my house is haunted by a man that killed himself during the 1990s .com crash. And she's like, that doesn't really sound like a real ghost. And I was like, okay. It doesn't sound like a real ghost. My ghost isn't real enough for you? What, you think your ghost is better than my ghost? What, my ghost wasn't old enough to be a ghost? 30 years dead isn't long enough? What, her ghost did go to ghost school, pass the ghost bar exam? Stupid, you know? I was like, my ghost My ghost is cooler than your ghost because my ghost is modern. He can interact with electricity, you know, he can get onto the internet. He's the one that looked up ebony interracial porn on my Google Drive when you saw it the other time. He's a crafty ghost. By the way, yours is a fucking mouse. So we learned that day, you know? Set the traps. I was surprised, pot smoker, don't let the wizard shirt fool you, and the jokes. I was getting high and I was watching Beauty and the Beast the other day. And I have rethought that entire show, or that entire movie I've rethought. It's like, that movie is built to make you think that Gaston is the bad guy. You know, the big French bulky dude with the cool gloves. He's not the bad guy in that movie. The bad guy is the witch. The witch goes to his house. She goes to like a 15-year-old boy's house and she's like, do you want my roses? And he's like, get the hell out of here, witch. And she's like, fine. Everybody who works for you is going to get turned into furniture. Like, that's a hell of a thing to do to people. Like, they're just the help. They don't even live in the castle. She did that to them, but here's the thing that was worse. She not only turned people into furniture, but she turned them into furniture that shaped like their previous bodies. And that's fucking awful to do to a person. You know, like, that was heinous. That was a heinous crime. She's like, you're tall, you're French, you're candles, bitch. I don't care. You're a candle. You're short, you're fat, got a weird mustache, you're a clock now. You do clock stuff. The worst thing she did is she turned a lady into a dresser. She's like, you're a dresser-filled hoe. That's what you are. You look like a dresser. You're going to be a dresser the rest of your life. And in the movie, they did that lady wrong because when they attacked, she opened up her dresser drawers and had her brassieres and out. She's just like, woo! It's like, man, that witch is the worst. She turned Angela Lansbury into a teapot. And her disabled son. You know, she's an awful lady. Well, meanwhile, you think Gaston's the bad guy, right? Like, what's Gaston doing? He's just doing cool stuff, you know? He's hanging in the longhouse. He's drinking eggs and swilling beer, hanging out with big boob blonde ladies, you know? He's got that weird little guy sitting there singing homoerotic songs about him. He's having fun, you know? And then Belle's dad comes in and ruins the whole thing. He's like, they took her! He's like, took her? He's like, they took my daughter Belle! He's like, the goofy girl that reads books? He's like, yes! He's like, who took her? He's like, a weird wolf dog man thing. And Gaston's like, alright, let's round up a bunch of guys and go freaking kill it. It's like, that's what you would do in the 16th century. I don't know, I guess maybe I'm a misogynist. I just like Gaston. I don't think he's that bad of a guy, you know? Beast is the one that trapped Belle. You know, he trapped her in there. Plus, he held her in there until she would eat the food. And once she ate the food, then the furniture did start talking to her. Like, he drugged that woman, you know? Beast is terrible. Oh, man. You guys are fun. When I was, oh, there's kids in here, isn't there? Oh, okay, fine. We are. All right. I went to a weird youth group when I was a kid. I went to a weird youth group, you know, one of those non-denominational ones. The ones where they wear, like, puka shell necklaces and talk a lot about Creed. And my youth leader's name was Brandon. And Brandon looked like the lead drummer for System of a Down. He had a shaved head and he had a long, weird soul patch, you know. And he was really judgmental because we left early to go play basketball all the time. And one day he stopped us at the door and we were leaving for youth group and he was mad at us and he's like, hey guys, basketball's not going to get you into heaven, okay? Staying here's going to get you into heaven. We're like, get the hell out of our way, chop suey. You know, screw you, Brandon. We went on and we just played basketball. And then 2 weeks later, Brandon unfortunately passed away. This was the last time I'd ever talked to him. And he passed away of autoerotic asphyxiation. This isn't a bit. That happened to me in my high school. That happened. My youth leader did a very dirty thing to himself that ended his life. In a week before that, he was yelling at me about basketball. I'm talking about a selfish guy, you know what I mean? But I still think he's in heaven. I think Brandon's in heaven. He's in my heaven. Because my God won't punish you for a little old thing like that, you know? My God won't punish you for a thing like that. My God will only punish you if you don't use the backboard on your layups. You know, you gotta ball till you fall, baby. Basketball is life. All right, guys, you've been a lot of fun. My name's Joe. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I just got an STD test the other day. Anybody got an STD test recently? No? That's nasty as fuck. I know y'all be fucking. I got an STD test, man. I was nervous when they come out. I be fucking raw. Like, for real, I don't use condoms. Y'all use condoms in here? No? I said, no, look at that. Y'all some freaking niggas. Look, I don't use condoms, man. Condoms ruin everything. And the one thing that ruined condoms for me is raw sex. Like for real, like the first time, everybody remember the first time they had some sex without a condom on. He was like, oh my God. It was like, hey, for real, that shit blew your mind. It's like the first time you put a cheese on a hamburger. Same thing. He was like, I didn't know. Whoa, that shit just shot my taste buds. And it was like, hey, I bet you ain't nobody here that had a hamburger in a long time. Shit, I fucking love cheeseburger, nigga. I love me some raw sex. But we don't, you know what? And I say that when I ask people, like when the last time they took an STD test, you know, because that shit is serious. You know what I'm saying? It's serious and we should do it all more often, right? If you have sex with different people, or the same person, because you know people cheat, like me and Reese said earlier. We cheat. But look, I feel like we don't take STDs serious anymore. Like for real. It's like ever since Magic Johnson didn't die, we was like, shit. That nigga's a billionaire now. Let me get some of them niggas. It's crazy, man. Then they got the commercials. The commercials don't make it no better. When I was a kid, we was going through sex ed